So I quickly wanted to go over the products on my Matthews V3. I recently shot my first big game animal with this Matthews V3, 51 yards, fully turned up, 72 pounds, made a perfect shot, 72 pounds, like I said, and perfect shot, double lung, full pass through, died in 60 yards. But so obviously this bow is a great bow in general. So I'm a little sick right now, so I apologize for anything that comes up because of it. But just the Matthews V3 overall is a great bow. You know, you get what you pay for. They are quite expensive, but you put good accessories on there especially, and it makes it really good. I shot that deer with no stabilizer as well. So 51 yards, no stabilizer, I was completely confident. So this is my stabilizer. So I usually have this, but my set screw came out, so that's the explanation to why I didn't have a stabilizer. It fits on like that. This is called equivalizer. $200 USD or US dollars, and then I've got an Ascent Mountain Light black gold archery sight on there. Like I said, Matthews V3, 72 pounds, and so I'm gonna go over the pros and cons of Matthews, of choosing Matthews over any other brand like Hoyt, PSE, Bowtech, anything like that. So first of all, the cons of this bow. So there isn't very many, but one is that it's one of the heavier brands. This is a pretty heavy bow. It's about 7.5 pounds fully loaded with all my gear on here. You know, but once you get used to that, that's fine, because I mean, you carry 7.5 pounds on a rifle, and you know, to be honest, this is way more comfortable than a rifle. So you just put it where you like it, where it's comfortable, and the weight of it's not very hard. I went backpacking with it this year, and I had no trouble with it. I shot 2 grouse on that backpacking trip, but it's not the point. Another thing about this bow, a con, is the handle. So anyone that's really ever shot Matthews really knows that the handle is not very good. So the handle on, you know, other companies, they're a smoother, flat face that has corners where it comes off. But this is a round, and you know, consistency is everything in archery, and if you don't have consistency, you're not accurate. And a flat-faced or sharper edged flat handle is going to be way more consistent, because you can put your hand in the exact same spot every single time. With this one, you kind of have to move it around, like, okay, there it is, right there. Like, right where it's natural, right where it's good, right where you've been shooting. But if you can get past that, there's really nothing else to this bow. Maybe the draw cycle is pretty cocky, but that's fine. I can move past that, because I'm going to have a not smooth draw cycle on heavy poundage on bows like this. So that really was just the decision of Matthews over Hoyt. But so now the pros of Matthews. So they're unbelievably forgiving. One, because of their dead in the hand feel after the shot. You shoot, and the dead in the hand means there's almost no shot vibration in the bow. Part of that is to do with the Nano 740, and also so this riser, this is basically a riser. This is riser from right here to right here. That's a lot of riser. That's the most riser, I think, of any bow in the world currently. And maybe not competition bows, but out of hunting bows, I know for a fact that this is the longest riser length that Matthews has. But so what makes it so forgiving and special is, I don't know the science behind this, but I just know this from my pro shop. So the limb pouch, which is right here, is completely aligned with the axle at full draw. And so what that means is it just gives it way more forgiveness across the platform. Like I said, I do not know the science behind that, but great bow. Also, another pro of this bow is that it is a very versatile and tough-built bow. You know, I can't wait to save up a little bit and get an AVB string on here, because, you know, the factory strings aren't always the best, and AVB are the best. And but I've got a Hansky primer on here, and that's my rest. I don't really need the micro adjustability that much for my setup. I'm not going to be shooting super far, so it doesn't even matter. There's center guard cable containment. So on other Matthews bows, this right here is the center guard cable containment. It's their new technology. It comes diagonally down instead of straight out. Now, the straight out, just like with the other thing, I don't know the science behind it, but it makes it way more vein clearance and at the same time giving you a way easier tuning bow. So it doesn't take very long to tune and it's not very hard. So this bow effectively got tuned in one shot. One shot through paper. It was tail low. They adjusted it and it was spot on. Just a perfect setup. Very consistent bow. If you aren't a consistent shooter, it's a very consistent bow. Now, the dead in the hand feel, you shoot a cheap bow like a diamond infinite edge, which is what I used to have. It's a lot of vibration and a lot of torque there. But with this, when I shot this for the first time, I was just like, whoa, what is this thing? Like, it felt super weird, but and then they've got the switch light technology cams here, and I don't know the science behind that even, but I can shoot good without knowing the science behind anything. Just look on MatthewsArcheryInc.com and you can find out everything you want for anything on this bow. Just a default bow without the sight or any tunes or any rests or whatever. But this bow alone is one of the best bows in the world. Very good bow, and I have no complaints about it. Here's a couple of shots of me shooting, and personally, this is just the best bow. So I recommend it very much so, and I'll tell you about the first big game animal that I shot recently in a little bit here. All right, so I got to the spot where I was hunting, and I was with my buddy Caleb Hanneman. His dad's Robert Hanneman. I'll talk about Robert Hanneman later. Great dude, works for a great company, and I'll talk about his company later. But I was walking with my best buddy Caleb Hanneman, and we have river bottom doe tags down here, and you can get up to 5. So I was like, okay, I'll shoot a small doe because I have 5 tags. So it's not, it doesn't use a general tag. So, it's a fun thing to do. And it goes till January 15th. So it's a great season, but, I went in and, we were walking. It's a super easy hike. It's a walk-in because it's completely flat road, and, so you walk in about 3 miles, but about halfway into that, we stumbled into a doe bedded, and she was bedded, and she didn't want to stand up because she thought she would get hidden, but we saw her. She stood up at about 10 yards and took off. Now, we went looking for her, couldn't find her, so we went back to the road. But we had split up. I went to go find her. Caleb went around and circled on the road, because if I spooked her toward him, then he could shoot her right then and there. So I came back. I was going along the road, and I'm walking. I'm about 50 yards away from Caleb, and I'm looking. I hear some noise. I'm like, what the heck is that? I look over, and there's this fawn looking at me like that. And so we have a slight stare down for about 10 seconds. Caleb draws. I see in my peripheral vision, and I'm like, yes. So this doe is at 30 yards from Caleb, and he's at full draw for about 5 seconds. And I was like, Caleb, shoot. I never said anything. I was just like, in my mind, I was like, Caleb, you gotta shoot. So this doe spooks. And she didn't see Caleb, actually, in fact. And so what ended up happening is she ran right into him, basically. So if he wouldn't have made any noise, she would have ran right into him. And and the doe went around him about 1.5, 2 yards. Like, it's that close, and he was at full draw the entire time, followed her. He could have shot her because she stopped for a second at 2 yards, but I was in line with that shot, so he decided not to take that shot. Good ethical decision, and we moved on from that. We never saw any other does, and we're looking, we're walking around, we're getting into the juice, and we're looking, nothing. So we're looking around, not spooking up anything, not hearing anything, not seeing anything, and you know how it typically goes. We're just walking out this road, and all of a sudden I'm looking over here, he's looking over here, and he goes, deer. So we get down. I put my camo hat on, and so what ended up happening was I didn't know those were two fawns, but they were actually fawns, and so we knew they were gonna come in because they were, acting really weird, playful, like fawns and stuff, and they were coming in, and they were going to get within range. So I was like, okay. And so I got ready. I had an arrow knocked and everything. I got ready on the release, and I got ready. And I just ranged the tree where I knew she was going to be. She stood there, front on like this, started feeding. Brother or sister made some noise. She looked up, turned, broadside. I drew back. 51 yards was the tree. And great shot, died in 60 yards. Funny story, I actually didn't find her until the next day because, things happen, and I didn't watch her. I watched her until she fell over, and I'm like, oh, she's dead. I looked back, and there was another doe. And I thought that one that was running, which there was another doe that came across and started running, I didn't know that wasn't her, but it wasn't her. So I didn't watch her. I didn't give anything like, okay, she's right next to that stump or something. And so I was like, dang it. So we went and we sat back, and they were like, okay, we gotta do a check where we shot her. So my buddy, he thought I missed, but I knew I hit her because I saw her fall, and I was like, dude, no, I didn't miss. And then we go up there, and there's this arrow, and it's stuck in the ground and everything, and at that point, I knew she was going to die. So I didn't know if she was dead or not. But what ended up happening is we searched for her, and there was a doe in heat, and there was pee on the ground with blood right next to it. So and we were, 500 yards from where she had already been expired a long time, like an hour. And so we went back the next morning, got some help. His older brother, Connor, had him in, and his friend Ian, and we went in there. And so what ended up happening was the doe went more over to the left than I thought she did, and we just trailed that. We found some more blood. There was a tiny bit of blood, like no blood at all, and we were following it, and we just found little tiny like drips, and the biggest, we was like seriously such small, and I was like, dude, that's just no way. I look up, and Connor's like, you shot a dink. That's exactly what he said, and he's looking down at that animal, and that was a great experience for me. After it all fell down, I was actually really nervous because I didn't know for sure if I knew how to field dress it, but once I got in there, I went for it, and I knew exactly how to do it. So that was a great experience for me, and I hope you guys can get out there and do the same stuff, and hopefully you guys can get after a rifle season. And stay tuned for next video, and there's going to be some other stuff and probably some cool stuff. So, all right. So Matthews V3 is great. I recommend it. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys later.